Well, my very first lesson with Lenny was learn a Charlie Parker solo on Now's the Time. And I said, well, I sort of know it, you know, because that was my thing when I was a kid from the time I was 14, listening to Bird. So he said, oh, really? So sing it. And so I did, as best I could. And he said, oh, you do know it. And he said, okay, sing, I would like you to learn a Lester Young solo, Prez solo. I said, oh no, I don't know that. So that was, I think it was Lester Leaps In. But he just taught me more or less to be myself and, you know, not to sound like, try to be myself and not imitate or copy any other singers, which I didn't do anyway, but he enforced that, like, be yourself, learn how to be yourself, take chances, don't be afraid. And if you mess up, it's okay, you know? As long as you know the tune, learn the tune, the way it's written, learn it note for note, the way it's written, you know, hear the chord changes and know where you are and never force an improv. And that's what I learned from him. I learned to be myself. And the two people that told me about Lenny, in fact, Mingus took me, was Charles Mingus and Max Roach, because I was looking for a teacher. I didn't know who was teaching, and they recommended Lenny. Because Lenny used to have all-night sessions, too, on Saturday night. So he'd play all night, you know, it was great.
Yeah, he spent such...
Yeah, and all the great cats would come up and blow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Max and Mingus, wow. And yeah, it was fantastic. Oh, well, Bird was my big brother, and yeah.
How did you meet him?
He's the reason I'm here. I met Bird when I was a teenager in Detroit. Mm-hmm. And I sang something. Me and these two young guys that I used to sing with, we were always doing like Bird tunes, you know. And in fact, I'm going to do one of the tunes tonight, Confirmation, with the lyrics that Skeeter Spite wrote. We sang, you know, we sang for Bird. He'd grab us, and he'd get us up and let us sing when he came to town, you know. He'd ask us to sit in for, you know, we did that. And then I got to know him when I came to New York. I was going with Duke Jordan, mm-hmm. and I ended up marrying Duke, but it was also, I said, oh man, now I'm really going to get to hear Bird all the time. Because Duke was playing with Bird,
they played together,
and I got to know Bird very, very well, even when Duke and I were not together anymore. Bird was like, he was always at my loft, you know. He became very, very important to me. He's the reason I'm here today. I wouldn't be sitting here if it weren't for Charlie Parker. I don't know how it started, but at one point some reviewer was writing about me and he said, Sheila, make it up as you go along, Jordan. Meaning make it up, you know, make lyrics up and things. I don't know, you know, sometimes it's almost like having a conversation with your audience too, you know, and sometimes I might improvise on what that song is about. What did it mean to me? What's the personal impact it had on me? How does this affect me? What does this mean to me? What does this song really mean to me, you know? So sometimes it has to do with that too, you know? It just depends. But I like to make up lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. But I don't force it. You know, only when it can happen, when it's very natural. It has to be very natural. To tell you the truth, I did not. Oh, I did, swallow. But the person who got me that date was George Russell.
Oh, really?
He came down to the club I was working at in the Village, and he heard me sing. And he came over after I was finished, because he came to hear a student of his who was the piano player for the singers in the club. And he heard me, and he said, where do you come from to sing like that? I said, hell. So he said, could I go back to hell with you sometime? I said, yeah. And I took him back to the coal mining area of Pennsylvania because that's where I grew up until I was 14. Then I moved to Detroit, but my grandparents took care of me. And a coal miner was in the bar. We went to have some drinks with my grandmother, and the coal miner asked me if I still sang "You Are My Sunshine," and I said no. And he said, "Why not?" And then George Russell said, "Why not?" Did you ever hear Did you ever hear?
Yeah, George Russell.
Did you ever hear me singing "You Are My Sunshine"?
Yeah, I guess. I
Oh,
remember.
you
I
would
remember that
remember.
there. I remember a beautiful
No,
version of
you
that.
would
Yeah.
remember "Sunshine." It's not on Blue Note.
It's not a movie.
No, it's on Riverside. Go on YouTube and look up George Russell, "You Are My Sunshine," but with me singing it, because that was the original. And it was for the coal miners who were out of work in Pennsylvania. And yeah, you got to hear it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you got to hear it.
I will check it out
Yeah,
for sure.
it was really something what he did on it. And I sang it for the coal miners, people I grew up with as a kid. Yeah. I just sang because I was very unhappy. I grew up in a very, very poverty, alcoholic family, and I was very, very unhappy, and music made me feel better. I sang as a kid, I always sang. I sang in school, school plays and stuff like that, or I was always singing, I was singing to myself, making up songs, and yeah, it was to keep me.
It was jazz
cheap.
from the beginning, or?
Well, no, not till I was 14. I mean, I always sang. I didn't know what I wanted to sing until I heard Charlie Parker. And I heard him on a record, a jukebox across from my high school. I was about 14, 15. And I heard Bird playing Now's the Time. Charlie Parker and his reboppers, not beboppers,
Yeah,
reboppers. And I said, oh my God, that's the music I want to sing, or whatever. I just have to know this music. But it wasn't easy, because Detroit was very prejudiced. They did not want white people, white girls mixing with Afro-Americans. It was a lot of race riots. But I didn't know color, man, because I grew up we were ostracized where I lived, we were like dirt, so I understood that feeling, but yeah. I fought it. Yeah, it was very hard, but I fought it. But I grew up with great people. I grew up with Tommy Flanagan and Kenny Burrell and yeah, he was, and Barry Harris.
Whoa!
I have a book coming out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have a book coming out this fall.
About your.
Yeah, my life. Yeah, there's a chapter on there.
What's the title?
Jazz Child.
Jazz Child.
Portrait of Sheila Joy. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm going to be at the Birdland on the 6th and 7th of May with Steve Kuhn Trio, with David Wallman on bass and Billy Drummond on drums.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great trio.
Yeah.
I
Steve's a great player.
Yeah.
Steve Kuhn. But I recorded, we used to have a group together. I recorded with him for ECM, so we have several recordings on ECM. Yeah, he's a great player, very underrated. Not many people, a lot of people don't know him, but he's been around for a long time. It's wonderful. And I like to sing his compositions. They're very quirky. The only thing I want to add is I am thrilled with this Torino Jazz Festival and the fact that people are in Europe and especially in Italy still support this wonderful music of jazz, and that I had some wonderful singers, 29 singers at a workshop,
Seminar.
which was shocking to have that many singers, and it's thrilling to know that this music.
What did you do at the seminar? What kind of lesson did you do?
I listened to just about everybody sing. I taught them some tunes, and I talked about the things that I know about learning the tune exactly as it's written, and that in order to, improvisation, the original melodies of the tunes, learning the original melodies of the tunes are the stepping stones to improvisation. If you learn the original melody notes of the tune and learn that tune, those are the stepping stones to improvisation. So we talked about improv, and I told him you don't have to scat sing to be a jazz singer. No matter what instrumentalists tell you, oh, you're not a jazz singer, you don't scat. Oh, yeah, well, really? What do you have to say about Billie Holiday? Was she a jazz singer?
Yeah.
So shut up, because she did not scat sing, okay? So, you know, because some of them aren't comfortable, or they just don't feel it, you know, and that's okay. But they sing, they all had a wonderful feeling when they sang. So I like that.